In 3, 2, 1.
Tagal lang 2 mo, Alvin.
Okay, let's just wait for the link. Kaya nakita na namin yung link. Share lang namin yung link. Then we'll start. Let's wait for the link. Kaya nakita na namin yung link. Share lang namin.
Ay, may delay.
Wala pa akong link. Mag-share ka, Alex.
Mag-share na, boss. Nakita ko na.
Sige nga, share mo.
Okay, yan. Na-share ko na, boss.
Okay, game.
Okay. Good afternoon, mga kakwentuhan. Again, it's Friday. Alas 5 na. So, alas 6 pro na. So, today we have a very, very interesting discussion again for you. In store for you today as we talk about cyber threat intelligence. No? So, what is this cyber threat intelligence and why is it critical into the end-to-end cyber security operation? So this one, medyo malapit sa puso namin nila Mr. Chairman to, no? Kasi this is what we do for our living, no? This is every day we do this in our daily jobs, no? And as a matter of fact, I remember correctly, no, nag-appear sa memory ko kasi sa Facebook nung last week, no. October last year when we conceptualize yung yung cyber threat operation na pinagawa ni Mr. Chairman sa grupo namin, no. And after a year now, so ang dami nang nagagawa ng grupo, no, in terms of cyber threat intelligence, like threat mapping, threat hunting, malware reverse engineering, and etc. No, and right now we are starting na yung digital forensic din. And to have give us an overview today about cyber threat intelligence, we have two guests, no, coming from the telco side, no, sa PLDT Smart. So BP Mia, you want to introduce them?
Yes, good afternoon. Good afternoon, VP Alex. Good afternoon, everyone. And today, as VP Alex mentioned, may dalawa tayong bigating guests for today. Yes. And to start
with, na kasi yan. Kasi bigati mo. Baba na sa work from home.
Pwede, Mr. Chair. So yung ating first guest is si Mr. Senon Bobet Atendido Jr. Si Sir Bobet is a seasoned electronics communications engineer, information technology, and cybersecurity practitioner for over 25 years of solid experience working with systems integrators and telecommunications sector. His various roles and technical positions handled over the years in information technology allowed him to successfully switch to the cybersecurity discipline. He actually started as a technical support engineer in the Middle East, where he was exposed in network technology deployment and system implementation in the banking industry. When he returned to the Philippines, he took on a role on a local mobile operator and was one of the pioneers in building its IT infrastructure. He then continued his journey in the telecom industry, wherein he worked for a local telecom giant and was responsible for successful implementation of the IT's first enterprise backup infrastructure, storage infrastructure, and first IT disaster recovery site. Sir Bobet, ang daming first and pioneer. So later on, he got into cybersecurity where he took part in many successful...
Delikado yan, BP Mia, yung mga pioneer, yung mga first, alam na natin kung anong yan, anong bracket.
Anong generation?
Sorry medyo napapakita yung generation. So today, he is co-managing the Cybersecurity Incident Response, Cybersecurity Incident Investigation, and Cybersecurity Threat Intelligence Groups. He is an avid reader, loves reading and researching about new technologies, and also loves playing outdoor sports with his like-minded friends in the industry. Ano kayang ibig sabihin ng like-minded?
Like-minded.
Sir Bobet?
Birds of the same feather, siguro yan.
Yes. And then next we have Mr. Joseph Santo Domingo. Sir Joseph is an experienced IP network communications and network security design and solution engineer and cybersecurity executive. He has more than 20 years of experience handling data center design and network security deployments, both for enterprise and telecoms infrastructure. He is a computer engineering graduate from Don Bosco Technical College. Mga Bosco niyan, hello. With cybersecurity certification and in ISO, IEC 27032, IP network and firewall solutions. He started his journey as a systems engineer. He worked for an ISO certified hard disk drive manufacturing company. And then later on, he moved to the then booming internet service provider, maintaining strict SLAs for their corporate and dial-up customers. Naku, dial-up customers. So alam na din, no?
Alam na.
1990s.
Yes.
Ayaw ko ng ganyan.
He then continued his journey, landing a position in one of the largest telco company in the country, where he, take note, pioneered several data center network projects, including two-tiered network security layers to protect critical applications. He also worked for a large American company, and then after which, he returned to his previous team and company, a local telco giant, wherein he was part of the team who made the first PCI DSS certification possible for its mobile financial platforms. Today, he is with the cybersecurity team and took the role as engineering lead, delivering the solution architecture, deployment, and operationalization of secure DNS. He drafted the solution architecture for the child protection platform and again pioneered the cyber threat intelligence group. A devoted husband and father who loves to travel and explore in his free time. Nako sir, hindi mo na nagagawa yan today. He is also into trekking, cycling, running, photography, toy collecting, and practical shooting. Sabi ko sa inyo sir bigatin
Hindi na rin niya nagagawa today yan. Hi, BP Alex. Ano
Yes.
natin, yung, si Mr. President, we are lucky to have him right now. Today,
so we would like to acknowledge the presence of our PIXPRO National President, President Ashley Asidillo. Thank you, Sir Ashley, for attending today. Alam namin, busy ka.
Siyempre, it's always a pleasure. VP Alexis, hi VP Mia, Chairman Angel, and siyempre yung mga kasama natin, si Joseph and si Bobet. Happy to see them.
Afternoon, Mr. President.
Good afternoon,
Mr. President.
I-ano lang natin bago tayo mag-umpisa nito sa ano nila. No? Para sa ating mga, gusto ko lang sabihan yung ating mga audience no, na yung next week natin is about digital forensics naman and its role in crime solution. No? Very recently, kahapon lang yata, no, na nagkaroon ng conviction sa cases ng mga Maute related na gang. And malaki ang role ng digital forensics at saka mobile forensics doon sa mga digital evidence. No. ang magiging guest natin next week, yung Chief ng Digital Forensics ng National Bureau of Investigation. No? I-announce ko na para hindi na siya makahindi. No? Sabi nung nagkwentuhan kami, sabi niya, sir, napaka-powerful ng digital evidence sa korte. Pag digital evidence ang pinesent mo sa korte and properly processed in a forensically sound manner, wala kang lusot. Yun ang next week. Tapos, mag-i-invite tayo ng isang expert din na matagal na nasa digital forensics. He is from abroad, no? And yung kausap natin is, naalala mo si Miss Rosie, no?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yun ang natin. Kukunin natin. And sana magkita tayo dahil mukhang magbibigay sila ng vouchers. Baka training yun. Hindi na
Uy,
alam.
Nice.
ganda yan.
Yan. Okay, sige. Banat, BP Alex.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Siguro while Joseph and Bobet is preparing, siguro batiin muna natin yung mga kakwentuhan natin na nandito ngayon, no, na umattend sa natin, no. So, yung regular natin, kakwentuhan si Ben Isra, gandang hapon sa iyo. Ito yung namin, boss, yung barkada naming nasa PNP boss, pero ito yung nagtuturo ng firing sa amin, si Don John Cruz. Thank you for attending. Pinagbigyan mo rin yung invite ko sa Kwentuhang Cyber, Don John Cruz.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Vincent, si Buds nandito, yung kakwentuhan din natin. Mga taga PLDT, supporters yata ni Joseph to, tsaka ni Bobet, sila Ara, sila Mau, nandito lahat ang tropa, kompleto tayo. Of course, yung regular natin, no, si Darwin Losoriaga. Thank you. Alas speaks pro na, Darwin. Salamat. Sa'yo nang galing yun. Ikaw ang nag-point nun, no? And si Orlando, nandito rin. Okay. Without further ado, no? So, we turn you over now to Joseph and Bobet to discuss about cyber threat intelligence and why is it critical to end-to-end cyber operation. Bobet, take it on.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Medyo kinakabahan tayo. First timer. Okay, so I'll be sharing my screen.
Hilig kasi kayo magtago lang eh.
Nakikita niyo na ba yung screen ko?
Wala pa, bro.
Wala, bro.
Yan.
Yan.
Kita na ba?
Kita na, bro.
Alright. So, medyo mahaba yung yung topic. So, I'll be breezing you the basics of cyber threat intelligence, the whats, the whys, and the hows. So, what is threat intelligence? Ano raw yung threat intelligence na yan? So, ang sinasabi, threat intelligence is data that is collected, processed, and analyzed to understand threat actors' motives, targets, and attack behaviors. So simply put, CTI is analyzed information about the hostile intent, the capability, and opportunity of an adversary that satisfies a requirement. So the focus is on the human, the threat. Also, CTI is an enabler of organizations' decision makers. So that they can make faster and more informed data-driven security decisions and move from being reactive to proactive cyber defenders. Right? So I move on. What are the objectives naman of CTI? No? I'll be calling cyber threat intelligence as CTI para mas maikling bigkasin. So what are the objectives of CTI? The main objective is to provide the organizations with in-depth understanding about the cyber threats that poses the greatest risk to their infrastructure and how to protect their business in the long run. All information provided by the CTI team should be actionable to provide proper support to the organization. So itong CTI provides focus, context, and guidance for prioritization. Because organizations don't have infinite resources, no, to resolve all those possible threats, and so we need to prioritize resolving risk with the greatest impact. But why is CTI important? Bakit ba mahalaga itong CTI? So threat intelligence is important for the following reasons. No? It sheds light to the unknown. So visibility. Very important yung visibility. Because that enables security teams to make good decisions. It also empowers cybersecurity stakeholders by revealing adversarial motives and their tactics, techniques, and procedures. Yan tinatawag na TTPs. Tandaan niyo yan, ha? It also helps security professionals to better understand the threat actors' decision-making process. And also, it empowers business stakeholders such as executives, CISOs, CIOs, and CTOs to invest wisely, mitigate risk, become more efficient, and make faster decisions. So efficiency. Efficiency ang dinadala ng CTI. And it also promotes awareness of own organization security posture and awareness of its possible adversaries. Ito, nandito tayo sa who, no? Who benefits from threat intelligence? Sino bang nakikinabang dito sa threat intelligence, no? Nakamute ba ako? Yan. Threat intelligence benefits organization of all shapes and sizes by helping process threat data to better understand their adversaries, respond faster to incidents, and proactively get ahead of the threat actors' next move. So, doon sa mga maliliit na negosyo, this also helps them achieve a level of protection that would otherwise be prohibitive, no? Kasi medyo mahal ang security. And on the other hand, enterprises with large security teams can reduce the cost and require skills by leveraging threat intelligence and make analysts more effective. So that's the benefits coming from threat intelligence. In this one, listed dito yung mga direct na beneficiaries ng threat intelligence. So nandiyan yung mga security analysts, SOC personnel, incident response teams, mga intel analysts, and siyempre yung executive management. I'll skip this one. This is the same as the other slide. This is the same, but this one is grouped by the type of intelligence areas. No? So the first is tactical. The other is operational and strategic. So same personnel grouped into intelligence areas. So I'll be breezing you to the threat intelligence life cycle. Ito yung how, no? Paano ba siya ginagawa? So the intelligence life cycle is a process. It's a process to transform raw data into finished intelligence for decision making and action. So maraming there are many different versions of this intelligence cycle. But the goal is the same. Pareho lang yung gusto mangyari, no? And that is to guide a cybersecurity team through the development and execution of an effective threat intelligence program. So, merong anim. There are 6 stages of CTI life cycle. First is requirements or requirement gathering, collection, processing, analysis, dissemination, and the last one is feedback. So let's go to the first stage, the requirements. The requirement stage is crucial to the threat intelligence lifecycle because it sets the roadmap for a specific threat intelligence operation. Importante dito sa first na stage ng CTI lifecycle is there should be a clearly articulated list of requirements of IRs available to the intelligence team and its consumers. No? So, napaka-importante nun. Kailangan maliwanag na maliwanag. Ano yung gustong ma-attain ng CTI team. So, pwedeng they wanna know who the attackers are, their motivations, what is this the attack surface, the vulnerabilities, what specific actions should be taken to strengthen the defenses against future attacks, and group by strategic and operational tactical. For strategic, what business units are most at risk from cybercrime? On the operational side, what groups or APTs are most active in the industry that will most likely attack, no? And on the tactical level, what adversary behavior should our analysts focus on to identify threats that are most likely to breach the organization? All right. So, importante rin dito sa requirements gathering, no, na to seek inputs from intelligence consumer. So we should ask questions and probably offer sample expected results, no? And leverage pain points in the organization as the starting place. The second stage is collection. Okay. So depending on the goals, the team usually seek out for traffic logs, publicly available data sources, yung mga forums, no? Even social media. Meron kang mapupulot na ano dyan. Lalo yung mga nagpo-post palagi kung nasaan sila. Threat feeds, no? And very important yung mga SME. Especially kung meron kang information or intelligence na hindi mo kabisado. Naranasan namin ni Bro Joseph recently lang. So we seek guidance from a subject matter expert regarding our industry. So once the requirements are defined, the team then sets out to collect the information required to satisfy objectives. No? Those can be derived from intrusion analysis, domains, external data sets, and even data pivoting. So next slide yata ito yung sample ng data collection and data pivoting. No? So in this example, meron kang isang C2 domain. Meron kang C2 domain and you can pivot, no, to collect other IOCs like this one. So dito sa sample dito, meron siyang na-collect na files from pivoting, no? Pivoting from one indicator to the other. The next stage is processing. Processing entails organizing data points into Excel, no? Excel, napakaganda na tool. Decrypting files, no? Usually, makakapulot ka sana ng mga encrypted na files na you have to decrypt. Translating information from foreign sources, possibly ibang language yung ginamit. or evaluating data for relevance and reliability. So after the raw data has been collected, it will be processed into format suitable for analysis. Structured models are useful for analysts, but the main reason simply is it's data into buckets, no? Data into buckets. So you have to, sa Tagalog ito yung ano, sa batibot, alin ang naiba. So yung grouping ng ano ng types, very important. It allows for the abstraction of the analyst and identification of patterns. Ang mga samples nito yung kill chain, diamond model, and MITRE attack. Moving on, ito yung mga sample tools, no? Ito yung binabanggit natin kanina, yung MITRE attack framework. Magandang gamitin ito na tools, no? Very flexible and informative and malaking tulong sa mga analyst. And even sa mga nagre-research. We have also yung diamond model, no? So this is also very useful. The next stage is analysis. Ayan. So nag-a-analyze na tayo ng data na nakolekta natin at na-process. Ayan. So once the data set has been processed, the team must then conduct a thorough analysis to find answers to the question posed in the requirement phase. So dito, sasagutin mo na yung mga hinahanap na kasagutan doon sa requirement phase. Kaya importante, sabi ko kanina, na dapat napakalinaw ng pagkakasulat doon, no? Yung agreement nyo doon sa requirement phase. Ang mga sample na ginagamit dito sa analysis, pwede yung Team A, Team B. So pinagbabangga nyo yung mga hypothesis nyo. Analysis of two competing hypothesis. Pwede rin yung red team analysis, brainstorming pwede rin. Pwede rin yung devil's advocate. Bakit kailangan gawin yung analysis na using more heads? Dahil meron tayong inherent na we have inherent biases, no? So kung meron kang biases, na lahat naman tayo merong mga kailangang iwasan. So meron yung tinatawag na selectively supporting one hypothesis. So nakasarado, no? Yun na lang yung iniisip niya na tama. Evidence inclusion, seek supporting evidence and reject refuting evidence. So namimili na siya, no? Significance biasing, greater significance to supporting data and lesser significance to contradicting data. So dyan ngayon ginagamit yung mga structured analytic techniques na nabanggit ko kanina. Alright? So nandito tayo sa dissemination. No? Dissemination. In this stage, we are preparing the report for consumption ng consumers natin. Nung kausap natin, yung nag-create tayo kanina ng requirement gathering. And there are 3 types of CTI report for different audience. Yung nabanggit ko kanina, strategic, operational, and tactical CTI reports. No? But most important sa report, it should be presented concisely, without confusing technical jargon, and short lang siya para hindi nakakainip basahin. And nandun tayo sa last na stage ng CTI life cycle. And this is the feedback stage. Bakit mayroong feedback stage? No? merong feedback stage. This is included para magkaroon ng continuous improvement doon sa proseso mo, doon sa how you formulate your requirements, your collection of data, your analysis, and dissemination. So this is for making the process better. Ayan. So this is the last for the CTI life cycle. Ayan. I won't be discussing this. Nabanggit ko na ito rin kanina.
Use cases.
Ayan. So time check. Sobrang ba ako sa oras ko? Bro Joseph, would you like to take this on?
Yeah, sige.
All right.
Ikaw na mag-share, bro. Okay, sige. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, hindi na ako nakamute. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm Joseph Santo Domingo. So continue natin yung discussion. No? So what we have here is yung threat modeling. No? Very high level. No? So we see our organization on top. No? So there are different pillars no assets natin. No? So we have financial data, intellectual property, system availability. Now, with this, iba-iba kasi yung threat groups, no? Iba-iba yung pakay nila, objectives nila. So do sa analysis stage natin kanina. So some would have intent on stealing or gaining financial gain dito, magnakaw. So they probably target yung financial data. If they want to spy naman on your organization and get intellectual property, so they'll specialize on infiltrating, and probably you wouldn't know they're there, no? They'll slowly exfiltrate data, no? So they try to stay there as long as possible. So that's a different APT group. Now, if the APT group naman is gusto niyang to disrupt yung business, no, yung operations, no, they'll hit yung system availability. So they'll tear down your HA infrastructure, no? Even if meron tayong high availability in place, no, may mga backup tayo, they'll hit it all at the same time to bring you down. So there are a lot of advanced persistent threat groups out there. You know, when we started with this threat intelligence team, no, so we started to be aware na yung scope nila, so yung dami nila, yung capability nila. So it's a lot actually to process, no, on a daily basis. Laging may bago, laging nadaragdagan sila. So one after the other, may bagong technique na lalabas, may bagong tactic, or they make combinations of existing tactics and techniques. No? So moving on, Robert, the next slide tayo. Siguro I'll just give you some tips, no, on how do we do yung threat intel collection. No? So for threat intel collection, usually you can use this Feedly news aggregator, no? So you'll find here some of the websites that we frequent to gather threat intelligence, cyber threat intelligence. Mostly this is surface web, no? So it's readily available. No? Nandiyan sila Bleeping Computer, no, si Threatpost, si Hacker News. No, without the Feedly, pwede namang you can go to the site and browse on information kung ano yung latest, no. So with this Feedly kasi it's easier, no. It's being collated. So you just have to look at the feed and okay na siya. So you'll have all the information collated for you, no. So that's just one. The next eto yung na-mention ni Bro Bobet kanina, di ba? We can also use yung social media. No? So we can have a tweet deck na dito yung yung mga cybersecurity groups and mga SMEs natin. No? Usually they'll post something and this is the latest development. So mabilis siya. So you can be aware agad na what's happening, no? So that's a quick way of getting intelligence, no, na what's latest, no? So another is on the next slide, what we frequently use, no, si Alien Vault, no? So dito sa Alien Vault, it's also free, you can sign up, no? Andyan yung mga na-mention natin kanina, APT. So 486 pulses, that was this morning. So from this we can also get a lot of yung tinatawag nating indicators of compromise. So what are these? Yung IP addresses, domains, file hashes. So usually we gather these IOCs and we have them blocked immediately, no, sa ating cybersecurity controls. So if it's domain, block natin yan sa DNS. If it's IP addresses, probably we'll block it sa sa firewall or sa routers natin. So yeah. So this is also very useful, no, to Alien Vault. You can also use you can dig deeper, go to the dark web, but I advise to be very careful, no. Siguro dapat you have a separate virtual machine or a physical machine to do that. So we do that from time to time. So lurker lang kami sa dark web. So tingin tayo what's happening, what's for sale sa mga marketplace. Minsan we find accounts there for sale, no, from corporations din dito sa Philippines. So you'll see personal information being sold on the dark web, no. So very, very cheap price, minsan $5 lang complete information ng isang individual. You'll find it for sale there. Pero mga credit card numbers, no, bank accounts, and the rest. So pero yung itong mga advanced persistent threat groups, hindi sila they stay quiet there. So meron silang different protocols. So it's very hard to get into that circle. So unless siguro talagang you live the life of a hacker na rin talaga, araw-araw ka nandun, makakuha ka ng information. Pero then we do these things on a daily basis. No, we try to scan the landscape, no, what we can get na we can see na it's a threat to our infrastructure, no. So we go through that analysis yung na-mention ni Bobet kanina. So marami, there are a lot of information that you get. You get the list, ito. Alin ba dito yung possible na maapektuhan yung organization namin or yung company natin, no? So yun yung that's how we pick it out. So if it's a hit or say it's a valid threat, no, meron kang ganung version ng operating system, meron kang unpatched na software na ina-exploit, definitely threat sa ating environment, and we have to act immediately. So on the next slide, i-reiterate ko lang etong meter attack framework. It's very, very useful talaga, no? So I suggest you go to the site and you explore. So we have 12 tactics here. Robobet, can you click one? Yan. So yung TTPs kanina, yung tactics, techniques, and procedures. What you're seeing here is yung 12 tactics ng meter. And each tactic would have its own technique and accompanying sub-techniques. Napakarami niyan. So ang kada threat group would use this differently, no. So if you can see here, marami siyang techniques. So pag ang isang threat group nag-attack, pwedeng isa o dalawa yung gagamitin niya doon sa unang tactic. Yung tactic yung yung column natin, no. So pag lipat niya ng tactic, ibang technique naman gagawin niya. So different combination ng utilizing techniques. So minsan nagkakaroon ng mga signature moves, kumbaga yung mga advanced persistent threat groups, no. Lalo na yung mga state sponsored, no, mga Chinese, mga Russian. So from there na-identify natin sila. And if we dig deeper, makuha natin yung behavior ng kada threat group. So it's very important na ma-identify natin ito. If we should have visibility in our environment. Napakahalaga nun. So this is what we are doing right now, no? So we're trying to master, kumbaga, yung tactics and techniques na ginagawa ng ating mga kalaban, let's say mga threat actors. So on the next slide, I will show you how you can do the threat mapping. No? So ito yung device namin sa aming threat intel group. No? So very first muna is we need to have a framework, no? A segmentation framework. So probably in your organization, you can start with 3. Sabihin natin internet, tapos yung network, tapos yung asset. At the minimum, pwedeng ganun. No? So right here, you can see we subdivided our infrastructure into 5 zones. No? The public zone, and yung internet. The public access zone would be yung DMC natin. The operation zone would be yung central network, yung office space natin where we work. The control zone, yung pang-apat natin would be yung where the NMS resides. No? So nandiyan yung management systems natin. We control the rest of the infrastructure. Then you have the highly restricted zone. No? The highly restricted zone would contain yung crown jewels ng ating organization, ng ating company. That would be the application servers and definitely yung database servers natin. So below is a simple representation yung infrastructure interconnection natin. No? So as I mentioned, yung public zone, you find there below yung ISP natin, wherein the organization is connected, no, to the internet and cloud service providers. So ayan, binap natin visually below. This would give us reference later, no, when we do the threat mapping. So what we're doing here is para madali siyang ma-visualize. Pero ang recommendation ko is dapat if we do this, we need to know our environment. Yun yung number 1. Know your environment. Alam mo dapat yung bahay mo. Alam mo lahat ng mga pintuan, lahat ng mga butas, saan pwede pumasok ang lamok, ang daga, ang magnanakaw. So dapat kabisado natin yan. Napakahalaga niyan. So imagine sa bahay, yung na-mention ko, and kung sa atin namang sa environment na isang malaking enterprise or isang telco, no, napakalaki ng kabahayan, kumbaga, yung ating infrastructure. Okay, so with that, let's move ahead and let's do the threat mapping together. Okay, this is advanced persistent threat XYZ, no? Si XYZ doing a supply chain attack. Supply chain attack is ang ina-attack niya hindi directly yung target but the supplier ng target niya. So in this case, gusto niya i-attack itong organization by infiltrating through the network monitoring system. So ngayon, itong si network monitoring system, it does a software update. It has a software update mechanism. So it downloads from its home base, kumbaga, no, ng updated na DLL file. Ang gagawin ni supply chain attacker, yung file na yun ang i-infect niya. Dahil alam niya, trusted yon, makakapasok yun sa loob ng target niya na organization. It will pass through the firewall kasi allowed siya. Okay, so sa case na to, ayan, na-infect yan, si network monitoring system. Ngayon, to put perspective, we put it sa control zone. Ayan, so kitang-kita natin. Ngayon, the tactic and technique comes in, no? So ano yung for this APT, ang style niya is to do the exploitation, exfiltrate data, and gain command and control, and then magla-lateral movement siya. So yan, namamap natin yan na doon sa halimbawa nakakuha tayo ng threat feed na ganyan yung procedure niya. So we map it to our environment. Meron ba kaming ganitong enemies? Yes, meron kami yan. So pwedeng mangyari sa atin to. Once inside, the lateral movement is easily accomplished, no? Kasi enemies siya. It will definitely traverse the management VLAN. Kasi doon niya nakikita yung mga mina-manage niya, yung minomonitor niya. So definitely they're connected on the network layer. So the only thing the attacker has to do is go through that network layer and hit everything here on the operation zone and public access zone. No? So hit lahat ng workstations, pwede niya ma-compromise yung router switches, yung portal doon na nasa public access zone, no? Kita din niya yan, monitor niya. So the LAN switches, the network routers, everything. Over to the right, once it hits yung malamang may ka-segment siya ng monitoring server din, probably monitoring database or applications. So easily mako-compromise yan kasi katabi lang niya, no? So if it's compromised and privilege escalation is completed, it can also traverse, papasok through the management VLAN, monitoring yung mga critical systems sa highly restricted zone natin. So yung kung NMS siya ng network, so yung TC spine natin, yung spine and leaf natin would be compromised. Kung monitoring system naman ng servers or application and database, so hit na rin si application, database, and even yung backup natin. So if you can see this kawawa naman tong tong company na to, no? Fully compromised siya. So next thing we do is we analyze yung pattern ng attack niya, no? Anong tactic o technique yung ginamit nitong nakuha nating threat intel na si APTXYZ. So ang signature move niya, based on the analysis that we conducted from the intel gathered, is we mapped it to sa meter attack framework. Ito yung niya, techniques niya. Si T1071, no? Si T1132. So sa public access zone niya gagamitin niya. Dito naman sa control zone, si T1195. So siguro to give context din, Bro Bobet, can you click one technique? Pili ka na lang kung anong gusto mo. Ayan. Hopefully mag-open. Ayan. So ano yung ginamit niyang technique? So it's an application layer protocol attack, no? It has several sub-techniques. So you can study the tactic or the technique being used here. Tapos over procedure examples, ito yung mga gumagamit, no? If we go a bit lower, no? So yan sila. So gumagamit ng Cobalt Strike, Dragonfly, Dufo. So dami, no? So down below, how do we mitigate? Ayan, sabi niya. You can mitigate it with network intrusion prevention. Kung meron ka nun sana, you can see network signatures, no? We can help prevent that type of technique being used on your infrastructure. So yeah, that's how we map it, no? So ina-identify natin yung ginagamit niya. And lastly, dito sa cybersecurity controls, alam na natin yung technique niya, alam natin tactic niya, alam natin yung vulnerability natin kasi kabisado natin yung ating infrastructure. Then we map it to our cybersecurity controls for the public access zone. So example lang ito. Kunyari meron tayong firewall, secure DNS, MFA, multi-factor authentication, no? We have SOC logging and alerts for visibility. For example, ilalatag natin, then we make it a point na identify natin ano yung in place, ano yung hindi pa in place. So sa case na to, ginawa ko lang red, kunyari yung organization na to wala pang IPS, IDS. So mark natin na red. So we'll know na vulnerable tayo sa ganitong kay T1071 tsaka kay T1132 kasi wala tayong IPS dun sa public access zone, yari tayo. So parang yung front gate natin kulang ng lock, no? Makakapasok si attacker, no? Yung magnanakaw. So parang ganyan yung natin. So easily it can breach to our public access zone if we're lacking ng controls, no? But meron pa rin namang other controls that can help compensate. We can detect it and probably we can isolate it kung mabilis yung natin, isolation, yung incident response natin. So right here you can see sa operation zone, control zone, and highly restricted zone, we have controls, cybersecurity controls in place, no? So napakahalaga dyan dito sa attack na to yung software patch, no? Para hindi mangyari sana yun sa ating network monitoring server. Kasi at that point ng attack, isa pa lang yung kino-compromise. The moment na maglateral yan, masakit na sa ulo kasi ang dami ng possible na infected or compromised at pwede rin magtanim yung ating attacker ng backdoor. So it's very hard to clear kung halimbawa it's an entire server farm yung na compromise, no? So yan. So this is how we do yung threat mapping. So every time we encounter an intel on advanced persistent threat na possibly can affect our infrastructure, we do this talaga. We map it out and we lay down all the techniques na makikita namin na gagamitin niya, and we'll see if we have enough defenses in place. If not, we devise a plan, a quick action to help mitigate, no, to help contain. So if in case we suspect na possible nasa loob na, then we go to threat hunting mode, no. We do investigation and we hunt for the threat within our environment. So that would require a different set of tools naman, no. So more on analysis, and when we go investigation, yung sa forensics na tayo, no? So we try to find traces ng kalaban sa ating environment. So ganyan ang ginagawa natin. So with that, one click, bro. Yan. Napaka-importante ng constant information gathering sa ating threat intel collection. Every day we do constant information gathering na mention natin kanina, tips, no, yung sinabi ko. So we do that every day. Mahalaga yun to keep up to date. Secondly, yung na-mention ko rin, knowledge of our environment. It's very, very important. We know our environment. Kabisado dapat natin yan. If we are to defend our infrastructure, we should know nasaan lahat ng natin, weak spots, nasaan tayo malakas, saan tayo matibay, saan tayo delikado. So know your environment. Napakahalaga niya. Number 3, know knowledge ng adversary. Know your enemy, no? So kaya pinag-aaralan natin yung mga threat groups. So it's not just knowing your environment. Unahin mo, syempre, know your environment, but you have to know the adversary. It's very important na alam natin yung kakayahan niya, yung motivations niya. No? Anong gusto niyang gawin. Yeah. Number 4, when we know our adversary, we try to think like our adversary. Paano yung technique niya, how will he move once he gains a foothold in our infrastructure? Malamang pupunta yan dito yan pupunta. Mas madali kasi dito yan. So that leads me to practicality and common sense. If you're an attacker, yung pinaka-open yun ang unahin mong i-attack na. So don't wait na ma-detect ka pa. So pounce agad at na opportunity na pwede mong gawing kung makakapagtanim ka ng backdoor, gawin mo na. Then if you can steal data, gawin mo na agad bago ka pa ma-detect. So that's practicality and common sense. Next, number 6, very important, no? Yung mindset ng isang cybersecurity warrior, no? Yung paranoia and vigilance. You have to stay paranoid. Don't be overconfident na dami kong protection in place. Panis yan. No. Later, sabihin ko kung bakit, no? So you have to be paranoid and you have to be vigilant. Lagi. Continuous vigilance. And of course, number 7, we have to devise and apply concrete action from the intelligence that we gather, no? From these threat actors, kahit mga IOC lang yan, IOC, no? We devise concrete action. We block it, no? We put new solutions in place to help contain. So moving on, ito yung final word ko. Kahit sabihin natin we do constant information gathering, yung kalaban natin does the same thing. The threat actors constantly gather information din para tapatan yung ginagawa natin. If you know our environment, inaalam din nila yung environment natin. No? They do recon on the target's capabilities. So dapat din natin masyadong binobroadcast yung what we have in place. No? Ang dami, firewall akong ganito, ang dami kong ganyan. Kasi they'll have knowledge, no? Dito siya malakas, dito natin siya pwede i-exploit. So next is, of course, they do research and they profile yung pina-profile niya yung target organization. So what we do, it reflects din ginagawa din ng ating kalaban. So if we think like the adversary, yung adversary natin thinks like cybersecurity people. No? So ganun din. Yung iba nga dyan, bago sila naging hacker, probably they work in cybersecurity. No? So yeah. And of course, the same lang, they're very practical. So, practicality and common sense. Next, kung tayo ay paranoid at vigilant, fearless naman yung mga kalaban natin, tsaka persistent. They have the shroud of anonymity, no? So hindi natin kilala kung sino sila. They hide. They mask their source IP addresses. Hindi natin alam kung sino talaga, naka-VPN sila. So yan, kaya fearless sila. And of course, kahit mag-devise tayo ng concrete action, sasabayan din nila, they would evade defenses and they will launch the attack at every opportunity. So it's a constant battle, no? Yin and yang tayo dito, no? So that's my presentation. So hopefully meron tayong na-ingrain na knowledge and appreciation sa ating audience na what is threat intel and how we do it, how we learn to do it. Yeah, the hard way.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Joseph and Bobet. Thank you very much, Joseph and Bobet. So actually, maganda yung maganda yung combination yun, no? So una nag-discuss yung professor, no? Bobet breezed us through the concept of threat intelligence, and after which Joseph highlighted yung yung application ng threat intelligence sa araw-araw nilang trabaho, no? So what can you say, Mr. Chairman, dun sa discussion?
Merong dito, may comment si Mr. Nico. Good evening. Just to add, besides from these security controls in your public access zone, you should also deploy SSL inspection. Well, it's given naman. Lahat naman ng mga natin, naka-SSL naman. No? Pero ang pinakita kasi natin dito is yung threat intelligence end-to-end operation. No?
Sige.
So,
bago natin i-dig deeper yung topic, no, para mag-discuss, gusto ko lang basahin yung ibang mga comments ng mga viewers natin, no. So we have averaging 60 viewers ngayon, no. So galing kay Leo Beroy, keep up the good work. Educating the community is one of the big step in protecting the whole ecosystem. Totally agree with you, Brother Leo, on this one. And salamat din sa suporta mo sa Pix Pro, no. Meron ding isang comment dito, Mr. Chair, galing kay Angelo. Salamat po sa mga sinishare niyong knowledge po. So, Angelo, makakaasa ka na patuloy na gagawin ng Pix Pro yung pag-promote ng security awareness. Galing kay Marita Pacetes, kudos to the admin for sharing this extremely timely and enlightening info. God bless. Tapos may side comment pa siya kay BP Mia na kamukha ni BP Mia si Marian Rivera. Yun, BP Mia, ano masasabi mo doon?
Yun yung pinakamagandang comment. Salamat po.
Diba, last, ano yung kamukha niya? Sino yung kamukha niya?
Yung last time, naalala ko, Mr. Chair,
Aramina.
sinabi
Mr. Chair.
si Aramina.
Aramina daw kamukha.
Dami ko naman kamukha.
Ngayon, si Marian Rivera, Mr. Chair.
Isa
lang ibig sabihin yan.
Next
Isa
week,
lang ibig sabihin yan, Mr. Chair. Si BP Mia, artistahin.
Yes.
Oh,
correct. Agree.
Ayun eh.
Tapos nakita ko pala si shout out lang kay Vice Chair Oka, nanonood siya, wala siya dito. We miss you here, Vice Chair, and si BP Sheila. Kamusta dyan, BP Sheila? Thank you for staying tuned.
At
star-studded daw tayo dito, sabi ni Brother Frederick. Kasi Aramina, tapos ngayon Marian Rivera. Baka next week sino kaya? Alice Dixon naman siguro.
Yeah. Alice Dixon. Type yan. But anyway, so balik tayo sa topic natin.
BP Alex, may tinatanong lang ni Ben, yung ating masugid na taga-sunod, kung pwede ba daw ma-share ng mga speakers yung kanilang PowerPoint.
Generic lang naman yung natin, Mr. Chair. We could provide natin sa secretariat.
Alright.
Sige. Okay, Ben, ayan na yung sagot sa katanungan mo.
Okay lang, Ben.
Natin.
Anything na maitulong namin sa inyo, we will help and assist. Okay, let's go back to our topic, cyber threat intelligence. No? So very, very timely, no? As you could hear from the news, no, that there are a lot of incident lately that is being performed by APT groups or advanced persistent threat groups, no, and how this cyber threat intelligence is helping the cybersecurity side of the operation. So going back to your discussion, Joseph and Bobet, no? So ako may isa akong interesting question sa inyo, pare. So kasi kanina nung ini-introduce kayo ni Mia, so diverse yung background nyo, no? Bobet is coming from IT with a solid first. Lahat, si Bobet ang nauna. First in ganyan, diba? Si Joseph din, ganon, solid in network. And now, you both verge into cybersecurity. So, ang unang tanong ko, because I like to point something here, Mr. Chair, no? Gusto ko malaman sa kanila, bakit cybersecurity yung nilipatan nyo? And why is it na ngayon na nasa cybersecurity na kayo, how this change your perspective in doing your job? Yun doon muna ako magsisimula. Anyone could ano.
Ako na muna.
Go.
Sige. So, nag-decide ako na na mapunta sa cybersecurity. Kasi talagang before pa ako mapunta ng cybersecurity, nagbabasa-basa na ako ng about ito nga sa cybersecurity, and I find it interesting, no? And one time nakita ko si Miss Malen sa isang meeting, ang dami niyang project, ang dami niyang ginagawa. So sabi ko, Miss Malen, ang dami mong ginagawa. Interesting yung mga ginagawa mo. Baka naman. Sabi ko. So yun, luckily, napasok naman ako sa cybersecurity. And ang laki ng changes sa perspective, no. Before, siguro we're sharing the same sentiment ni Joseph. Ang ginagawa lang namin is yung system namin, binabantayan namin yung availability. So pag nasira, alam naming nasira siya. Alam naming kaya naming gawin. Pero pag pala nasa cybersecurity ka, hindi yung sira yung binabantayan mo. Alam mong merong sumasalbahin ng mo eh.
Correct.
Ng sistema mo, di ba? At pag na-fix mo yung isa, hindi mo alam kung ano pa yung sisirayan niya ulit eh. So yun yung continuous talaga na vigilance sa pagbabantay ng mga minamanage mo na system in terms of security. Yun lang po.
Ayun. Ako naman. So, like what Bro Bobet said, no? Actually, I reached na rin siguro yung boredom do sa sa network tsaka managing mga firewalls. Kasi over the years na ginagawa mo, pag na-fine tune mo, dalawa na lang eh. Either ikaw na nasobrahan yung gawa mo or nagkamali ka, or nag-breakdown talaga yung system, no? Na sa kalumaan or hindi na maintain. Yun lang lagi. Availability lang yung binabantayan mo. So kung na-fine tune mo naman siya, naalagaan mo lagi, hindi na siya nagda-down eh. So lagi lang siya naka-up. So maboboard ka rin na. So one more thing is yung nalaman ko na nabuo na yung CISOG and they'll be taking over yung mga security solution. So part nung nasimula namin sa companies yung DMC yung ginawa natin dati, no? So I consulted with then I happened to build yung and standardize yung DMC. So parang para sabi ko parang bitin pa, hindi pa kami tapos kaya lang mawawala na sa akin, no? So habulin ko kaya. So I asked Miss Malena baka she might need my help to with my background naman na knowing yung infrastructure ng company for many years, tsaka yung mga network security, mga firewalls. Firewalls lang yung alam ko nun, medyo mababaw pa. Tsaka gusto ko rin matuto ng in-depth na cybersecurity. So in-approach ko din si Miss M. So I asked her kung merong position sa group para baka makatulong ako. Yung sabi ko sa kanya. So ito naman, I'm here na. So very appreciative. We learn something new every day. Yun yung gusto ko sabihin. No? Tama si Bro Bobet. No? Ibang level yung nagawa mo na maayos, mini-maintain mo, pero mayroong gusto magpabagsak nun eh. So yun yung nakakagigil na part dun eh. Talagang hahanapin mo siya eh. No? So, yan. Very exciting cybersecurity para sa amin.
Okay. Thank
Mr.
you.
Chair,
may tanong
may
ako.
ko lang. Mr.
Ay,
Chair, may share
go
ko
ahead.
lang. Yung sinasabi ni Joseph tsaka ni Bobet kanina, it really reminds me of this classic quotation, no? That's just in cybersecurity, but those who are in the security field in general, our enemies only have to get it right one time. Tayo, on the other side, we always have to do it right all the time.
All the time.
Yan ang natin. That is the unfortunate, or maybe I should say the challenge for those in our field. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Tama yan, Mr. President, no? And ako, 27 years na akong laging gano'n. But I never felt tired, not even for once. May tanong lang ako, Joseph and Bobet. Doon sa mga IOCs, no, mga indicators of compromise na collect natin. To date, mga ilan na yung, kasi hindi na ako nakakuha ng update lately, mga ilan na yung ano natin ngayon, yung indicators of compromise natin sa ating threat intel database na kino-correlate natin sa lahat ng mga logs, traffic logs natin.
Yung numbers, boss, nasa 20,000 plus yung nakukuha nung threat intel group.
Pero yung
base
total,
number.
yung kasama yung sa ISOC natin.
Sama sa ISOC would be 150 M, boss.
More than 150 million na tayo.
Yep.
Yung last 3 months yata na update ko, nasa 215 million yung ating IOC. That is 3 years in the making, di ba? And then every day, meron tayong subscription sa mga commercially available na IOC feeds. Tapos yung daily na ginagawa din natin, no?
Ito yung daily, boss, yung na-mention ko pa. Yung ginagawa.
26K.
Ganun karami. Karon karami ang kino-correlate natin sa ating mga logs. Ano naman ang nun? Ano naman ang nagiging success rate pagdating sa lahat ng mga layers of attacks natin?
Right now, boss, fortunately hindi pa tayo na hit, no. So when we do yung yung mga use cases naman natin, we can see na when we fine tune it enough na mag-work naman siya. So meron tayong mga alerts. So meron tayo diyang na detect din na advanced persistent threat. So hindi ko na sabihin kung sino, we're able to detect it and do further threat hunting, no. So with that, na-enrich pa natin yung additional na naman learnings from that. Then use cases naman ulit tayo. When we do use cases, sabihin ko na rin sa audience natin, no. So we base it on process, no. So combination ng ng mga IOCs and paano yung behavior, no, nung ating threat actor, no. So paano niya, sometimes ina-hide niya yung process no, sa normal processes yung ginagawa niyang pag-atake. So you try to map that out and test it sa kung pag na-hit yung ganung procedure is magkakaroon tayo ng alerts. So right now, yun yung pinapaigting natin, sir, na ma-fine-tune natin ng maigi. So to increase our
parang na tayo, parang 3 years na rin. Parang araw-araw we are improving.
Tuloy-tuloy lang, boss, na
pero remember, Mr. Chairman, we started only the threat intel last year. So and then we gone through a lot.
Nag-anniversary kami last
Sa P yun, sa P. Pero sa SOC natin, 3 years na
3 years,
3 years na.
Si Ben, sabi niya sa honeypot, are we using daw honeypot? Siguro, ngayon wala tayong ginagamit na honeypot. Ang honeypot kasi is a double-edged sword. If you don't design it properly, mapupurnada yung yung infrastructure mo. Nung nag-work ako sa Spain, nag-implement ako ng honeypot sa isang customer. It was properly designed na ngayon naman nung panahon na yon, maluloko mo pa yung mga hacker sa honeypot. Ngayon, hindi na siguro ganun gagaling ng mga attackers kasi ngayon Kaya you need to design your honeypot na parang totoong network talaga siya, totoong makina, So sa atin, sa infra natin, mahirap maglagay ng honeypot, baka doon ka pa madali.
Yep. Agree, Mr. Chair.
Tapos meron pa dito si Kat. Shout out na tayo dito kay Kat kasi suki natin to every Friday.
Shout out, Miss Kat Gonzalez.
Shout out.
Common challenge in threat intel is misunderstanding its value to the business, because if the intelligence is tied to a business problem, chances are the service is waste of money. So important to examine the info from threat intel for its ability to protect the enterprise. So it has something to do with the mindset talaga. Like yung binanggit ni Bobet kanina na You have to understand the possible behavior of the attacker. Kasi it's not just about dropping the malware, no? The next move is very important. Parang chess ito. You have to be not only one move ahead of your enemy, but if possible 4, 5 or 6 moves ahead, no? Alam mo yung move niya, alam mo din yung move mo dapat. So magandang exercise. Sa chess you are focused. The moment na lumingon ka, kakatayin ka ng kalaban mo. Ganon din yata dito sa cybersecurity. Ano, Joseph?
Agree, boss. Agree.
Okay. Magpaano ka muna, magpaayuda ka muna kasi
yes, as we discuss, no, nagkakaroon din kami dito sa PixPro ng tulong since pandemic ngayon, no. So we are providing ayuda doon sa mga viewers natin na nakikinig at na talagang nagti-take down notes, no. So siguro Aldwin and May, na tayo. Just write #PixPro and then your answer. Ilabas na natin yung unang tanong. BP Mia, would you do the honors?
First question. What is meant by IOC?
Goy.
IOC, kakasabi lang. #PixPro, then your answer.
Kapatid ba yan ng IOU?
Gusto ko yun, Mr. President. IOC.
Okay yun.
Pero dito, iba dito. Pag nasagot mo yung
Meron
IOC, may pera ka. Sa
Yes.
IOU, magbabayad ka.
Oo. Tama si Mr. Pres.
Si Frederick Gonda ang
Uy,
nauna.
si Frederick.
Tama ba?
Indicators of compromise, ang sabi niya, Mr. Chairman. Yes, that's correct. Answer.
Alright.
IOC
You
confirmed.
got
Correct.
$2,000.
You
You've got
got it.
2,000 na yun. So our PixPro Secretariat will extend to you. 2,000 worth of groceries. Yeah. So malaking tulong din, no? Next question natin. Question number 2. Can you paste it now?
Yes. Question number 2. What is the meaning of TTP in
TTP.
MITRE ATT&CK framework?
Okay,
Tactics,
TTP.
techniques, and procedure. Si Joshua. Mukhang nauna na si Joshua.
Uy, ang bilis nasagutan na.
Hihirit pa lang sana ako
Joshua
ng joke, Mr.
Kalay.
Chair. Nasagot na pala.
Joshua
Hihirit-
Kablay,
Hihirit pa lang ako ng
congratulations.
joke eh. Nasagot na kaagad.
Mabilis, Mr. President.
Bilis.
Ibig sabihin, nakikinig talaga yung mga audience natin, no?
Tama.
Nakatutok sila
Okay.
talaga.
Yung
Kulang
huling
lang ng-
2,000.
Huling 2,000. Question
Mr. Chair.
number 3.
Mr.
Yes.
Chair, VP Alex, bago tayo dun sa third question, meron din pwede ba akong magbigay ng meaning din ng TTP?
Yes, Mr. Press, absolutely.
Tama dun sa kanina, sa nangyari kanina. TTP, tutok tayo pre, para manalo.
Tutok
Ayos na,
talaga.
Ayos yung Mr. Press. Okay,
Okay,
final
Dave.
question. Question number 3, VP Mia.
Yes. Final question. Which of the teams can benefit from threat intelligence whose primary function is to accelerate incident investigations, management, and prioritization?
Ito, naalala ko to, diniscuss
May sagot si Leo. Tama ba yung kay
Professor
Leo?
Bobet. Leo Paris, Sec IT Analyst. Tama ba, Bobet? Hindi, mali. So, pwede
Sino
pa.
pa? Si Dave
Larosa.
T-shirt.
C-cert, yeah. I think it's the right answer, C-cert.
Yes. Congratulations.
Alright. Congratulations, Dave.
Congratulations.
Ang galing ng ating ngayon, topic ngayon.
As
So,
usual.
lumagpas na tayo sa oras.
Lumagpas. Pero kung papansinin mo, Mr. Chairman, naka-stay tuned pa rin sila. 56 pa rin yung viewers natin. No? So, talagang interesting topic. So, siguro, before we end this, because this is Friday, lagpas na tayo sa oras, we want to as much tackle, as much information with you guys. Kaya lang, syempre, we look at the time. Let's hear a final words na lang from our our speakers today. No? Ano ba masasabi nyo or mai-impart nyo sa mga audience natin, no, regarding this threat intelligence topic? I'll start with you, Joseph. Joseph?
Ang aking ma-impart sa audience natin, ano, if you're really interested sa threat intelligence, it's talagang never ending yung knowledge na makukuha natin. So if you're hungry for knowledge, and you want to really analyze yung mga tactics, techniques nito, mga bad guys na nagkalat, no? So it's something na you should look into. Probably para sa inyo ito. So I realized din na wala ako idea dati what's ano ba ginagawa ng threat intel other than the definition threat, no, na cyber threat, yun lang yung alam ko. Pero right now, I'm into it, talagang passion ko na rin ito, no? So everyday talaga ito yung ginagawa namin. So I'm very glad. Tapos it gives me energy rin to rise up in the morning na napampago, napangkalaban natin.
Keeps you awake at night.
Natutulog
Keeps
ka
you
ba?
awake at night.
Keeps you awake at
Minsan
night.
hindi nga. So yun lang. So
Thank you, Joseph. Thank you for the time. Bobet, how about you? What can you say?
Ayan. So, alam ko maraming mga estudyante na
Nanonood din.
nanonood sa atin. Mga estudyante sa mga bagong nagtatrabaho. So, tamang-tama, no? Habang bata pa kayo, wag na kayong gumaya sa akin na date na cybersecurity. So, hanggat maaga, this is the right path. Sundan niyo yung cybersecurity.
Thank you, Bobet. How about you, President Ace? Baka may message ka sa mga viewers natin, Mr. Press. Na-miss ka nila.
Kanina, puro lang kasi ako pabiro, pero ito ang seryoso, no? Doon sa mga naghahangad na pumasok sa larangang ito, tama si Brother Bobet, agahan nyo na. In fact, ang programa nga ng PIXPRO sa pangunguna ng chairman natin, simulan natin dito pa lang sa high school. So abangan po ang balita galing sa aming organisasyon. Meron po tayong nakaambang programa dyan. In fact, before the year ends, but most likely pagpasok ng 2022. So maganda ang pasok ng 2022, hindi lamang dahil meron tayong Kwentuhang Cybersecurity, pero meron din tayong hinahandang programa para sa ating mga kabataan na gustong pumasok sa cybersecurity. So abangan natin yan. At finally, Mr. Chair, VP Mia and VP Alexis, you have the floor again.
Thank you, President Ace. Chairman Angel, baka may final words ka sa mga viewers natin, Mr. Chair?
Alam nyo, nung pisahan natin yung threat intelligence operation, no, sa EPLDT, napaka stranger, no, nung dating nung operation na yon. And finally, napot natin sa PLDT. And sabi nga doon sa nabasa ko nung nagturo ako minsan sa isang military school, nakita ko doon, intelligence is the heart and soul of every a successful operation. Ibig sabihin nun, pag yung tropa, yung military, mayroong mission, tapos walang intelligence information, 50-50 yun. Yung success ng mission is 50-50. Pag law enforcer ka, mayroon kang papasukin na compound ng mga masasamang tao at wala kang intelligence information, 50-50 yun. 50-50 din ang buhay ng mga tao. So importante yung threat intelligence information, at napatunayan din natin yan sa operation natin, no, na yung threat intelligence information enables or allows an organization to predict the threats. So if you are able to predict the threats, you can also improve your preventive and detective capabilities long before the threat arrives in your environment. So para sa iba, ito na naman ang isang pillar, no, ng cybersecurity profession, ang maging cyber threat intelligence operative. At dito mo lang mahanap sa amin. Okay, yes. Sana nag-enjoy kayo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Salamat. VP Mia.
Yes, actually VP Alex, no, after yung session natin today, mas naintindihan ko na kung bakit sinasabi ni Mr. Chair every Friday, no, na sa cybersecurity, happy lang, walang weekend. So after yung presentation kanina, no, we do the constant information gathering every day and then all the mappings. Mas naintindihan ko na. And I also, threat intelligence is very important. Yung realization ko is because with threat intelligence, it lets you reinforce your defenses in a more sensible manner. So that's all for me.
Thank you, VP Mia. So sa akin naman, so threat intelligence, gaya ng sabi ni Mr. Chair, very, very new, new diversion sa cybersecurity. Isang rin naman to, isang pillar ng cybersecurity na kailangan natin palakasin, no? And short of saying na it's not too late, no? Kaya kanina tinanong ko si Bobet at si Joseph, ano yung driver nila na lumipat sila ng cybersecurity? Even ako. So I shifted sa cybersecurity 2014 lang, no? But ang masasabi ko lang sa iba ring na interested sa cybersecurity, this is the best time, no? This is the best time to move to cybersecurity. Kasi what could I say? Infrastructure has been built. Na-built na yung infrastructure, no? And the next thing, logical thing to do is to secure it. And hindi matatapos yung pag-build ng infrastructure. Therefore, hindi rin matatapos yung pagsisecure ng infrastructure. With the new technology, lalo dumadami ang attack surface, diniscuss natin yung 5G, diniscuss natin yung IoT, it opens up a lot of threat landscape. The more we need to secure those landscape. And here at PIX Pro, we are promoting that awareness and education for you guys, no? Kasi we need the community to help each other to protect the PH cyberspace. Not only the PH cyberspace, but the whole cyberspace as a whole. So again, yun lang. Maraming salamat sa pakikinig nyo this Friday. Again, happy weekend to all. Sa sinasabi lagi namin, sa cybersecurity,
happy lang,
walang
weekend.
Thank you guys.
Okay.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you.
See you next Friday.